God bless you, my friend.
The opinions and recommendations expressed by Dan are his own and do not necessarily represent the opinions of this station or any of the show's sponsors.
Welcome back, American Family Radio Network, Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia. It's great to be here. So let's just take a look at the markets. They're all in positive territory, by the way. Everything is up. The Dow's up 81 points. So I guess they're figuring there's going to be a deal made here shortly. But they're up 80 points. NASDAQ's up 20. The S&P's up 10. So that's kind of where we are right now. We'll see how things shake out. They're moving downward. They opened a lot higher. Not a lot higher, but they opened higher. And we are coming off of those highs. On the commodity front, it looks as though oil is right now in negative territory. Not negative territory. It's running downward, okay? It's trending down. It's down slightly. It's at 101.10. I said I was hoping by the end of the week we'd see 100. It looks like we're only 10 cents away here from breaking the 101 number, and we are trending down. So we'll see how that goes. That's good news. Gold is up 7. It's at 1280. Gold is up 1280 right now. Natural gas, by the way, is up to 385. All the agricultural commodities are in positive territory, the highest of those being corn. Corn is up 0.23%. So that's where we are and all that. We'll continue to watch the markets and let you know how things are shaping up, at least in the indices. As I see any news coming out, of course, we'll talk about it. But right now, we're not seeing anything. Any financial data, economic data that's coming out would be federal economic data, which we're not likely to see. So the dollar is down, by the way, on the euro, the pound, and the other basket of currencies. The dollar is down. T-bills have spiked somewhat. That's not good news for the Fed. Creates a little bit of a panic. Treasuries, by the way, a 10-year note is hitting 2.72. It's got to be killing the Fed because everything they're doing is trying to pull that down, and it is just taking on a mind of its own. That should give us some indication. If the Fed is not controlling a 10-year Treasury, are they really think they're going to control inflation or deflation? Either one. Anyway, let's go back to the phones. 866-300-9298. Let me go to Sharon. Sharon's calling us from Texas. Hey, Sharon.
Hey, hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
And I just wanted to say I believe it's Texas Attorney, Greg Abbott, who's running for governor next time. Maybe not David Duke.
It is. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
Yep, you're absolutely right, and I knew that. I knew that, but I didn't say.
Both of them may be great. But anyway, on the default, I heard another program yesterday, I believe it was, and someone was on there saying that the default payment requires something really substantial, much more than what comes in every month to the government. So it's not that they have plenty of money there and they can easily make it. So that was just confusing according to what you had been saying, and I wondered if you had heard anything like that.
Well, I don't listen to any of those things because I get to look at the numbers. So I see the Treasury outlays. I look at them every single month. The Treasury at the end of the month, the Treasury Department puts out, they call it a budget. Unfortunately, it's not a budget, but they put out about a 30-page summary of all their expenditures, every little detail of what they're spending money for, and every little detail of what is coming in. So I don't know what the premise of the person that you were listening to, what premise they were talking about, but here's the deal. The fact of the matter is, last fiscal year we spent $333 billion on interest to service our debt. We are spending about $22 billion a month. This isn't my number. It's a Treasury Department number on interest. We have about $250 billion that everybody's throwing around per month is not necessarily accurate. It probably averages about $220 a month. Our two biggest months would be the month of April, for obvious reasons, April 15th, and the month of September, another tax month, because at the end of August, anybody filing for extensions in their tax returns are all due August 30th. So it would stand to reason that September would be a big month, and it is. It's one of the biggest months in collection. So if you look at September and April, April's in the 300 billion range, and September is the next. So there's only one scenario that is going to create a default on the debt to foreign countries that we owe. And maybe I need to be specific in that regard. So the federal government owes China money every month. We owe Japan money every month. The Fed just puts it on their balance sheet. We don't actually give it to the Fed because they're our largest debt holder. But we have money that has to get paid out to even people like you that may have some U.S. Treasury bills, to people like mutual funds that have pools and funds of government treasuries and debt. All of those receive income on those bonds. Okay? They all get income. And it's different. Obviously, it's a little bit different. Some get a little bit of a higher interest rate than others. When you total all that up, it's about $22 billion, give or take. There's no reason why we would default on that debt. Now, if you are saying that default includes, not you, Sharon, but this person that you heard, if they're saying that default includes not being able to pay the people at the Department of Education, or not being able to pay everybody at the EPA, or not being able to pay, other federal agencies. If you're considering that default, then yeah, I assume we're going to go into default in that regard. But we're not going to default on the debt that we owe our bondholders, unless the president specifically says to the Treasury Secretary, do not pay China or any bond money. Don't pay it. So yes, there's going to be some. I'm not saying there's not going to be any pain. I'm not saying that things are going to go about their business as normal. That's not going to be the case. But we know for a fact, and we only have to look at the U.S. Treasury numbers, is that we've got X amount of dollars coming in every single month from revenues, and we have X amount of dollars going out every single month. When you add up all the money that is going out every month, it is more than what we have coming in. But obviously, in a shutdown situation, there are a lot of things that aren't going to be getting paid other than our debt, but we'll have enough to pay Social Security, and we'll have enough to pay our debt holders. Now, I'm not, we could split hairs over it, I guess, but with anybody, and I know there's a lot of that going on, but I'm just looking at the numbers, and I'm looking at the numbers, the math that is coming in from the Department of Treasury. And apparently, I'm the only one. You can look at it too. You can go to usdepartmentofTreasury.gov, and you can find in there the printout from August for the budget for August. They call it a budget for August, and you can print it out, and you can look for yourself. And anybody can do it. It's, it's not hard to get, and I do it every month. Also, what you'll find in that, they actually do a comparison over year. So they'll look at the revenue stream that has come in for the month of September this year, and they'll compare it to last year's month of September. Now, this year's month of September is going to be larger than last year's month of September because of, remember, we added back in that 2% Social Security tax out of our payroll. So it's going to be a little higher. It's one of the reasons why we have seen a somewhat of a decrease in our deficit for the year. Between that and sequester, and other tax increases. That's why we've had it. So I can't speak to, I don't know the context in which the other person was talking, so I can't speak to that, but that's where I'm getting my number from.
Well, thank you so much for that information. And I just have to say I love your accent, by the way. Is it Jersey?
It's Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I just love it. I'm a language teacher, so I notice what you do. But thank you so much also for voicing all of our frustrations and keeping us informed.
Thank you, Sharon. And Sharon, you're the only language teacher I know that likes it. Most language teachers despise it. But I appreciate that because I get more negative comments about it than I get positive. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Because I can't fix it. Nothing I can do about it. I'm old. It is what it is. Anyway, thank you for that, Sharon. I sure appreciate you. Let me go to Mike. Mike calling us from Texas as well. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Dan. First, as a fellow veteran, I want to thank you for your military service to this country and then also for your current service.
Thank you.
Then, on a regular basis, I call Ted Cruz's office and Mike Lee's office to encourage them and edify them and to continue to support them and to, because I know that they're taking so much heat. And John Boehner will be getting a call a little later, but of course it'll be of a different ilk. But I'm kind of ashamed that I haven't really compiled a list of all of those, what I would call freedom fighters that are currently fighting for us. And you have your corner of shame, but do you have a list of all of the good ones? And then I have one more thing, which is, you say that until the Lord grabs you by the throat and forces you into public office because you are able to have this communication with so many people so often. Of course, that even if you were a congressman or a senator, you would still be able to have your show and communicate even more so.
Mm. Yeah,
Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that and let you make your comment.
Thank you, Mike. I think I appreciate that. Actually, Mike, because I'm a nonprofit organization, I would only be able to have my program, of course, on commercial radio, and because of obviously the political connotations of being in office. So that would be an issue. But nice try, Mike. But I have an excuse. But I appreciate you saying that, and thank you. You know what, Mike? We need to do more of that, as we see Mike encouraging Senator Lee and Senator Cruz. We need that. We need to do that. You hear me talk about, hey, let's call in, and we got to hammer these guys. Today, it's Tom Colburn this week on my website that we've got to call his office. But we need to call him and encourage. As a matter of fact, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, I was asking people to call Boehner's office. Now, I don't have a whole lot of love for John Boehner, but the fact of the matter was, he agreed to stand on, they may not have been his principles, but he did decide to enter into a battle. And I wanted us to call and encourage him, and I think a lot of people did. So we need to continue to do that. It was very interesting comments. I don't have a clip of it, but I'm going to get a clip and I'm going to archive it. But very interesting comments last night on CNN. So I'm driving from the airport last night, and I'm listening to Sirius Radio, and I'm listening to Sirius Radio on my phone. It wasn't in the car, it was on my phone. And unfortunately, the phone app that I have on Sirius Radio, as opposed to it being directly in the car, does not air Fox News. So I had to listen to CNN, and I was glad I did. It was a little painful, but I was glad I did. But Senator King was on, and he made a number of interesting comments. He was, first of all, I guess I give him credit for having the guts to call out Ted Cruz. That's a clip I'm going to be using a lot over the next couple years. Just saying how he thought it was ridiculous. But how I've been saying for a long period of time that we need to stand, obviously to stand firm on our values, but we need to get be willing to have a battle, even though we don't feel as though we're going to win the war. And I say that has been the problem. That has been the problem with Washington. They don't want to have a battle. And the American people are ready to battle because you got to stand on principles. And if you're going to stand on principles, you've got to battle. So Senator King says, I think it's ridiculous that we have a battle against a war that is unwinnable. And all I could think about was therein lies the problem. 866-300-9298. We'll be back.